Yes, men are so emotional. In fact, there's a good argument to be made that men are more emotional than women.
So where else would two grown men with unlimited power and zero impulse control throw a public tantrum?
Tell him how you used to hang out with Jeffrey Epstein.
Fear the day we have a woman president in the US. I fear that day.
Hello everyone, welcome to TV Tokwase. If this is the first time here, welcome, hi. And if this is not your first time here, how you doing? Please check to see if you've subscribed. It's a very free way to support me. And this is the best time to subscribe because we are having 2 videos dropping every single week. It is a nightmare to coordinate that around my work and everyday life, but really happy that it's something that we can do weekly now. So here on TVTK, we serve you the hottest tea from the internet, from TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, and sometimes X. Have you ever heard the phrase or the sentence, men are logical and women are emotional, or just women are too emotional to lead? If you have heard that, this is the right video for you. So let's jump into it.
I'm not the biggest fan of female politicians. I think generally we're too emotional.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, do I want, in the US, I know more about the US political system.
Yep.
So, do I want someone with the nuke bomb that could get their period? And then she's in a bad mood. I don't want that personally.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be...
I fear the day we have a woman president in the US. I fear that day.
Why?
I don't think women aren't meant to lead.
Yes, men are so emotional. In fact, there's a good argument to be made that men are more emotional than women. Let me give you just a brief summary of some of the research. For context, I just finished my PhD, which was about teenage boys' relationships with emotions. Generally speaking, baby boys are more emotionally reactive and expressive than baby girls in terms of their levels of fussiness and in their displays of joy. That said, boys do tend to become less verbally expressive than girls by age 2, which is when language starts to develop. Multiple studies have found that boys tend to display greater emotional symptoms than girls do, such as this study where parents and kindergarten teachers identified boys as having greater levels of depression and separation anxiety than girls. And perhaps what I personally find the most fascinating studies are those that indicate that boys and men tend to experience greater bodily responses to emotional distress or to emotional events than women, even though they report experiencing less. For instance, this one study had men and women watch multiple movie clips where each clip was designed to elicit a specific emotion, and their heart rate was being monitored. Men either had higher heart rates or the same level as the women did when watching these clips, but afterwards, the men were way more likely to report experiencing less emotional intensity than the women. At the very least, there's a case to be made that men don't experience their emotions less strongly than women, but that they describe or perhaps interpret their emotional experience as less intense than women do. But here's the thing, I don't care at all about arguing whether men or women are more emotional than the other. But I do care when people use these conversations to weaponize emotions, often against women, to diminish their authority and write them off as irrational. And I do care when some people, more often men, view their emotions as problematic and so try to cut themselves off from those emotional parts of themselves. And there's this weird paradox that the more we try to suppress our emotions, the more we end up getting controlled by them. But that might need more of an explanation. Leave a comment if you want me to expand on that or anything else in this video for future videos.
What we fail to realize is anger is also an emotion. But that is usually how men want to express themselves. While women, we have decided to use emotions that are helpful to build a community around us. So helpful to build a safe and healthy environment for everybody, including the men. So I'm hoping that if this information, like if this knowledge, because it's a very common thing, just that men decided that they don't want to agree that they are also emotional. And emotion is not a bad thing. Everybody has emotions, but they just want to use it as uh, an attack against women, just so that we will not be able to lead or will not be able to take any position of leadership, whether at work or in general life. Yeah. So a very good example of how men, especially the ones that are in power, the most powerful person and the richest man, are very, very emotional. If you want to see an example of that, let us get into this next video.
How are we missing this so badly? We are 24 hours into the soap opera breakup between Trump and Musk, and there's one comment I can't stop reading. You've probably read it 3 times today already. The girls are fighting. The girls are not fighting. The grown male billionaires are fighting. For fuck's sake, this is what we've been trying to say all along. This is not the behavior of girls. This is not the behavior of women. Do you know why it's not the behavior of women? Because women are not fucking allowed to behave this way. When my daughter was in 3rd grade, she was withheld from a gifted program for a full year because she was disruptive in class, despite getting good grades. Do you know what they call disruptive boys who get good grades? Gifted. When we wouldn't shut up about it and she finally got tested, she ended up being in the top tier. And yet, after 3 years in the gifted program, 80% of her classmates are male. Because as a society, not only do we hold women to different standards, we don't even know how to identify the talented ones when they're right in front of us. Meanwhile, for boys, our entire system is built around finding a scrap of redeeming talent amid a landfill of mediocrity. Also, we can lift him up and empower him so he can reach his God-given potential, so long as he's surrounded by a bunch of talented female administrative assistants to manage his calendar for him. And we know this, yet we still let ourselves fall into using the exact same language they use to protect themselves from the future. The girls are not fighting. The girls have been attacked for 400 years of American history, ever since they were burned at the stake by people like Trump and Vance for having original thought. And then the women who do acquire even half of the level of power, recognition, or fame of Trump or Musk only got there because they first were able to develop a level of cognitive and emotional intelligence a century ahead of its time. And then to reward them for their talent, we call them a boss bitch, put them on the cover of a fashion magazine, and give Elon Musk another $25 billion in government subsidies. The girls are not fighting. The grown male billionaires are fighting because this is how grown male billionaires behave.
Exactly. Exactly my point. Because if you want to talk about the American system, and I made a video about the American education system, or unschooling, actually, unschooling, and I would pin it up here or here. So if we know that there are more, like women are ahead of men academically, how is it that in the gifted program there are more men there than women? And I think the problem is, or what tends to happen is, because the women are just more advanced, especially academically, it is, you just see it is common. Yeah, it becomes very common. So when you then see a guy that is more advanced than his peers, like other boys or other men, we then think that, okay, comparing them to the other males, this guy looks like a genius. But because we are seeing women being academically more superior, I won't say superior, but like higher academic what they call it, abilities than, like, typically among women, the average woman is more intelligent, to be honest, like academically, and the research shows that. So because we have seen it and it's so common, it is now harder to spot out the women that are actually um doing like excelling. Yeah, do you don't understand my point? Yeah, but I think it's just the comparison of, because there are so many women that are doing well, and then there are so many men, there's very few men that are doing well, so it is easier to spot out the ones that is doing just a bit more. Well, yeah, just my theory. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section.
If any of you bitches missed the absolutely deranged timeline of events that transpired between Elon Musk and Donald Trump between June 3rd and yesterday, don't worry, babe. Mama's got you. Oh, and everything I'm about to show you, all of it happened on Twitter. Because where else would two grown men with unlimited power and zero impulse control throw a public tantrum? Hi everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you know what fucking time it is, bitch. It's time for the Daily Scream. Buckle up, babe. This all started on June 3rd, or as I like to call it, the first shot. Elon logs onto Twitter at 5:31 p.m. and says he can't stand it anymore. He then posts, "This massive pork-filled spending bill is a disgusting abomination." And honestly, that's kind of what I'd imagine a conservative uncle would say after finding out that their nephew is not only non-binary, but vegan. Then we head into June 4th, the meltdown. At 6:07 a.m. because Elon's clearly still awake and spiraling. He claims the bill adds personal risk to everything Doge. Yes, Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. Because the personal risk to Doge is worse than you going full-blown J.K. Rowling on Twitter at 6 in the morning. But of course, that finally leads us to June 5th. One of the messiest days in America in 2025. At 2:52 p.m., Elon quote tweets someone who says the Republican Party should listen to him, and just says, yes. From 3:20 p.m. to 3:46 p.m., Elon starts posting Trump's old tweets like it's Spotify Wrapped. At 4:01 p.m., Trump says in an interview that he's very disappointed in Elon.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Very disappointed. Really? Bitch, this sounds like a parent-teacher conference. Trump also claimed that Elon saw the bill but didn't like how electric vehicles wouldn't get any tax cuts. So then at 4:10 p.m., Elon responds, "Slim, beautiful bill for the win." Then at 4:25 p.m., Elon responds to Trump saying that he saw the bill, basically saying like, "That's not true, bitch." At 4:46 p.m., Elon claims that Trump would have lost the election without him, then follows that up with such ingratitude. At 5:38 p.m., Elon posted a video of Trump praising him, basically being like, "See everyone, Trump loves me." 5:57 p.m., Elon makes a poll on Twitter asking the American public if we should make a new political party. By the way, I'm like 90% sure that in this span of 3 days, Elon did not get a lick of sleep. At 7:10 p.m., Elon drops the Epstein nuke, claiming that Trump is in the Epstein files, which honestly, nobody was shocked, like at all. Of course, at 7:33 p.m., Kanye West jumps in and he's like, "No, girls, stop fighting, please." And then at 8:11 p.m., Elon starts talking about how Trump should be impeached. So to recap, a bill got passed to Senate, Elon called it ugly, Trump got upset, Elon went apeshit, Kanye West got emotional, and somewhere in the middle of all of this, Americans lost their last shred of hope for this country.
I have no idea how men got so successful in their propaganda of saying that women are the emotional ones when this is considered a hate symbol in some countries, that men are so triggered by this that they've removed it from media because they get so fucking mad.
Okay, everybody slow down. Elon, you go first. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to destroy my Lego rocket, yeah.
Okay, Donald, is that true?
Excuse me, that's not true. And frankly, he's a bigger dummy than a girl with cooties. I don't want to say it.
Okay, guys, you guys are best friends. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, well, actually, I never even liked his crayon drawings.
Excuse me, don't say that. You don't mean that. Don't say it if you don't mean it.
I would say I mean it, yeah.
I'm the president. I will put you in timeout for, like, the whole summer. I'll do it.
Trump is so ratchet. Like, if Trump was a black girl, everyone would call him ratchet left and right. They'd be like, her makeup's never blended, like, her booty look padded and fake, her wig is always lopsided and falling off, she lied about getting shot, she got 5 kids with 3 people, she's living in government housing, her and her bestie broke up, and her bestie was, like, doing fraud for her. She's scandalous. Ooh, I can't stand that girl, Trump. We would say this without even thinking twice. She's so ratchet. And then she got flued out by Qatar. Who knows what she did to get that? You know, Trump be busting it wide open for Qatar. Like, we would talk about her so bad.
Just imagine if a woman that has any level of power, I'm even down to a convenience store manager, or let's say governor of a state, does something that looks like just a fraction of this. Talk less of if whoever was a president, if a person was a president of US. Imagine if a woman did something like this. The whole internet would have been in flames. But we're allowing some 2 grown men, we're giving them grace to behave like this. Huh? Yeah, I think it's the other lady said it properly. It's just a propaganda just to make sure that women ourselves, we also tell ourselves that we're too emotional and we're not logical enough. How is this whole situation logical? Considering their power, considering their where they are in the world, how is this logical? And now Elon is coming back to say, "Oh no, I went too far." You did? Really?
This girl is the nastiest skank bitch I've ever met. Do not trust her.
I never liked Teslas. I never did.
It was $44 billion.
I think you're really weird. And ultimately, you're lucky I even let you into this country because you know how I feel about immigrants. Tell him how you used to hang out with Jeffrey Epstein. You literally still hung out with me after I did that, allegedly. It feels like nothing is ever going to be normal again. Man, probably not.
And you know she cheats on Aaron. Yes, every Thursday he thinks she's doing SAT prep, but really, she's hooking up with Shane Oman in the projection room above the auditorium. And I never told anybody that because I'm such a good friend.
What was that, Elon? I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. The big, beautiful bill is disgusting, and it's full of congressional pork, and shame on those who vote for this. Okay, I understand where you're coming from here. Donald, do you have something you want to say? I'm very disappointed with Elon. I've helped him a lot. He knew this bill better than anyone sitting here. He had no problem with it. But the second we said we were going to cut the EV mandate, huge problem he had. Okay, I'm hearing accusations. I'm hearing a lot of I statements. So can we just stick to... Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude. Now, Elon, you can't take credit for everything, and also feels a little bit like a crook. Oh, and ponder this, okay? Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40 plus years. Okay, that feels like a supervillain monologue there, buddy. It feels like a supervillain monologue. I mean, you should remember your rockets are all paid for by... The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised Biden didn't already do this. Okay, fellas, I think we're breaking some new ground here. So why don't we go ahead and table the rest of this... Time to drop the really big bomb. @Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the reason they haven't been made public. Bro, he just called you
He was best friends with Epstein. I bought the presidency. I bought the house. You go tell him about the little kids, Don? I looked at your bank account, Don. I didn't know escorts cost that much. Trump's tariffs is gonna cause a recession. Tell the people why you're not releasing the Epstein files, Donald. I'm giving people their rights back. What supercomputer? Next question. The second half of this year, everybody gonna be broke. I built this shit. Man, you were supposed to do this together. You broke my fucking heart. Forgive me, Donald. I failed you. I dare you to try to stop me.
It's okay.
I just thought I could change him.
You did change him. You made him worse. How did the kids take it? Yeah.
Well, X was fine, but... And the other 49 took it really badly.
Listen, babe, Mr. Far Right is out there. You just got to let him in.
Ketamine?
No, not ketamine. No,
but I want it! Putin just sent a text.
What did he say? What did he say, hun?
Hey, hun, here if you need to nuke.
Oh, that's really sweet. I heard he's got a thing for billionaires, you know.
Really? Like, I swear, he's the most toxic ex.
Since your social media app.
Tilly, you are such a bitch! No.
Why don't we watch a scary movie to distract you, like Alien vs Predator?
Oh no, because that just reminds me of Oh my god, he sent me a voice note.
Don't read it, babe.
It's not gonna help. I have to listen to it.
Elon, it's me, Donald. I just went to meet Mark Zuckerberg. I showed him my bill. He says it's the biggest, most beautiful bill he's ever seen. Too big, actually. Hope we can still be friends, but not really.
Okay, screw it. I'm setting up a Raya. For the buyer, I'm thinking, looking for commitment, but open to swinging. Like an election.
Yeah, love it.
Take a pic of me.
Wow. So good. Oh my god, babe, your rocket looks massive.
Yeah?
Do you like hitting it, babe? Give us a human one.
Yeah.
So good, babe. He's gonna be kicking himself.
I've got a match.
What?
Kim Jong-un.
Oh my god, get him to send a dictator pic.
Oh my god, DJ2 would hate that. He's talking about me again. I'm gonna send a tweet.
No, don't, babe.
I have to send one tweet, then I'm over it, I promise.
Babe, you've got to be the bigger billionaire.
Done.
Okay, so what did you say?
I said he's on Epstein's list.
Ooh.
Too much?
So let me get this straight. War plans shared in a group chat, and we still acting like women can't lead. Let's talk about it. 10 years ago, Hillary Clinton was dragged for using a private email server. Investigations, hearings, headlines for years. Now, top male officials allegedly shared military plans in a group chat. That accidentally included a journalist. Now, suddenly, it's no big deal. This country has a problem. Not with leadership, but who they're willing to let lead. Women are over scrutinized, called emotional, held to impossible standards. Meanwhile, men get passes for the same, or worse, behavior. If that isn't proof of a double standard, I don't know what is. Women aren't too emotional to lead. We're just too bold to be controlled. And maybe that's what actually scares them. The truth? America doesn't have a leadership problem. It has a bias problem. Take that how you will.
Oh my god. I think people are having too much fun with this. And I think this is getting illegal. Like this is just too much fun. At this point, America is just the best entertainment. It's not nice for everybody has had their fun. It's funny. I understand. I think people are having too much fun at this point. People are having too much fun with this. It's a serious situation, but because of how like on like just unreal things are coming from America every single day from Trump and his goons. This has just turned to comedy at this point. And like, I can't blame people for finding fun in some situations. I can't blame them, but it's time to get serious.
The best leaders in tech are women. For example, Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, literally made YouTube profitable, which is one of the biggest tech companies. Women tend to have higher EQ, lower risk tolerance, which actually are the traits that you need to be great CEOs. Unfortunately, media only shows CEOs like Elon Musk, Sam Altman, but there are so many incredible female leaders and CEOs that are actually making these companies so much more profitable.
I'm going to prove to you with facts, not feelings, why women are better leaders than men. And if you're some insecure dude that's getting triggered by this, great. I want you to listen because I'm going to show you with numbers why we outperform you all day long. Korn Ferry did a study on the 5 traits that make a great leader, and women outperform men in every single category except one, and I'm going to get into the one. When it came to inspirational leadership, women were the 54th percentile, while men were the 47th percentile. Coaching and mentoring, women were the 57th percentile, while men were the 46th percentile. Organizational leadership, women 56th percentile, men 46th percentile. And adaptability, women were at the 54th percentile, while men were at the 48th percentile. The only place where women did not outperform men showing what's up was in emotional stability. And guess what? We were equal to the men. Yes, we were not more emotional to men, contrary to popular belief. Study after study shows that men and women are equally as emotional. Now you may be wondering, well, it's great that we're outperforming men in all these categories, but does that equate to results? And the answer is yes, it does. Women entrepreneurs, in fact, outperform their male counterparts by over 113%. And out of the Fortune 500 companies, 41 of the CEOs are women, and they consistently outperform their male counterparts by an average of 123%. Yeah, 123%. So there you go. It's not just my opinion. It is complete fact that women are better leaders than men. So ladies, if you're intimidated to apply for that upper management job, you need to go ahead and do it because the dude next to you is not going to be as good as you. You will outperform him and go get what is yours and continue to prove that women are better leaders than men.
You're going to say, but you voted for Trump. Putting a woman in office on a global fucking stage puts this country at risk. This isn't about how your feelings feel about putting a woman in office. This is about billions of lives at stake. And to say that this is me saying I'm anti-woman, I'm pro-humanity, actually. So if we, look at reality for what it is, there are nukes all over the planet. And there are big, powerful countries that don't fucking care about anything but power.
Fake feminists are exposing themselves because if you call yourself a feminist and then in the next breath say that a woman can't be in charge of the US because other countries won't take her seriously, I'm just going to assume you're an idiot. And I'm going to assume it's a confession that you still believe that power only looks like a man, despite the current world proving and showing you that you're wrong. Like, let's start with the premise, right? That male-led superpowers wouldn't respect a woman. Like, here is the reality. We had Angela Merkel, who ran Germany, Europe's biggest economy, for 16 years. So she dealt with Putin, she dealt with Xi Jinping, she dealt with Bush, Obama, Trump. All of them had to take her seriously, and she was arguably the most powerful and stable leader in the West for over a decade. Even currently you have Giorgia Meloni, right, the current Prime Minister of Italy, so leading a G7 country. Love or hate her politics, she shaped Italy's domestic and foreign policy decisively. You also have Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, plays a key role in global trade regulation and diplomacy, obviously representing over 450 million European citizens. And I'm going to pull our niche one out. You've got Tsai Ing-wen, former president of Taiwan. I'm telling you right now, China definitely took her seriously, as did the US military-industrial complex. Meanwhile, many of the most disrespected, idiotic and unstable and outright authoritarian regimes today are led by men. If you're worried about how the US would look, know this: nothing makes a country look weaker than institutional misogyny disguised as a political strategy that makes you vote a moron into power. Do you think Xi Jinping or Putin would respect the US less because they voted in a woman rather than Trump? They don't respect Trump. They don't respect idiots. You may not like them, but these people are smart people. If they're going to sit in a room with someone, they're going to sit in a room with someone that they think is capable, and they're not going to say anything disrespectful or do anything disrespectful. If you're a so-called feminist and you won't elect a woman because of what other male dictators might think about the message you are sending. Anyway, it's stupid, man.
And besides, women are more emotional than men. Really, I find men to be more emotional than women many times, or at least as emotional anyways. What? How exactly? Well, let's start with anger. This makes a lot of men impulsive and makes them also underestimate the chances of bad outcomes as well. Like, what outcomes? The first example that comes to mind is when he says he's blindsided when she leaves, even though many times these type of men are also the types that are complaining about their partner nagging them. So either you were completely unaware that she's not happy, and therefore I would understand the blindsided, or you were aware that she's unhappy so much so that you grew tired of hearing her. Like, which one is it? Yeah, but that doesn't mean that men are angrier in general. Really? Then why is it that the majority of crimes like assault, domestic violence, child abuse, kidnapping, homicide, and so on are primarily carried out by men? Well, not all men do that. I'm not saying all men do it. I'm just saying that men are emotional simply because they act on their emotion rather than logic many times. But I feel like that's just biology. Committing crimes is not biological. It's simply a lack of self-control, which, by the way, is an ability that takes place in the frontal lobe, you know, the part of the brain that is responsible for logic. So you mean to tell me that women are more logical or what? Absolutely not. We're humans. We're emotional by nature, but studies do show that women tend to be generally better at self-control and self-monitoring, so meaning they use more of their frontal lobe. Most probably. I mean, this lack of self-control is completely absent when we're talking about rape, for instance. Jesus, that's awful. And it's so weird. I've always heard that men are stoic, they're rational. Me too, until I realized that what they called rational actually means suppressing emotions. It's not like they don't have emotions, it's just that they don't know what they feel most times. So you suggest that they're affected without even knowing it. Precisely. Ultimately, suppressing your emotions will only ensure that you become their slaves because you will never understand how to manage them, how to grow from them. They feel their emotions to be weird and uncomfortable, so most times they are going to numb it down with drugs, with alcohol, and the world's favorite, porn. No wonder that 80% of suicides are committed by men. Which explains also the impulsivity of the moment. I mean, if something happens, like an argument with the girlfriend, the first reaction of many men is to dismiss her feelings. Exactly, once you're bothered by your own feelings, you are going to be bothered by others' feelings as well. And also explains why men are lonelier than ever nowadays. It's a combination between suppressing emotions, dating apps, and porn, and voila, you're numb for a very long time. Oh, and that's what men understand as a lack of emotions. Yep. The reality is that all our actions to a certain degree are influenced by emotions. It's called the affect model. Emotions are the primary motives for human behavior, with people usually wanting to maximize their positive feelings and minimize the negative ones. That's how human works, and we're all humans, so embrace your emotions and you'll embrace yourself.
A fallacy that I find pretty hilarious is the idea that men are less emotional than women. Because teaching men emotional regulation is literally crime prevention. Teaching men emotional regulation is literally suicide prevention. And this is because a massive issue in our society is that men have been brainwashed to believe that our emotions are our weakness, that our emotions are something that we should be pushed to the side, should try to ignore as long as possible. Due to this, a lot of men conflate the idea of not being in touch with your emotions as being less emotional. Like, a lot of men honestly believe that it is more healthy or masculine for a man to go through the most tormenting moments of his life and just sit through it straight face rather than to talk to a friend about it or to, God forbid, talk to a therapist about it. And this is the exact reason why men struggle so much. We've been brainwashed to believe that our strength is our inability to feel, that our power is our ability to mask our emotions. And the hilarious idea that women are inherently weaker than us simply because they are able to express how they feel without feeling ashamed of it. Something I want men to get comfortable with is the idea that you have been brainwashed simply to believe that the most human parts of you are the parts that you should be ashamed of. And the main reason this has been done to you is to keep you in line. Because let's be honest, we can all understand to some extent how in society men and women have been taught certain things to help society continue, to help society basically make as much money from us as possible. However, something we do not fully understand that this has been an insidious part of civilization for hundreds, if not centuries, and the effects of this have been absolutely humongous, even today. We have guys that only open up to ChatGPT, guys who have never expressed love or affection to a woman, yet will come on platforms, express how women are the emotional sex, men are more logical. What logical sense does it make for you to not express yourself? What logical sense does it make for you to hold in all your feelings, to only let them out in anger? And for any men out there who believe that men will be better off if we went back to the old days and we were more masculine, I want you to tell these men that have been killing themselves for the last hundreds of years exactly that.
I think this is all well said. And if you're talking about impulse control, because impulse control is also like part of emotional and part of being emotional. We know that even from just statistics that men commit more crimes, but like, and all these crimes are because of impulse. They suppress all their anger, and it comes out, then suppress all their emotion, and it comes out as anger. They're punching walls, they're beating their wives and their girlfriends to death, they are raping people. All these, we have more men doing that. Also, when it comes to suicide, men are the ones that have a higher suicide rate. So I think this all shows that men are also emotional. If maybe this as emotional as women, because we are all human beings, that there are small similarities between ourselves, male and female, than differences, but they want to amplify the differences so that it will allow them to continue to have a patriarchal world. And they're not seeing that it's not benefiting them. The highest suicide rates, the male loneliness epidemic. We're not hearing about women being lonely. Women have been lonely for longer than men. Women have been in marriages and been lonely in the marriages. Women have been in relationships and they're lonely in the relationships. But you're not hearing women coming up and down, disturbing the whole internet. They are the ones that are complaining from the male loneliness epidemic, because they don't know how to express their emotions when they're in a relationship. And we have given them the blueprint and they have decided not to take it. But hopefully, with more information coming out about emotional and being emotional and all that, and them knowing that it is okay for them to be emotional, then hopefully this gets better. But I don't know, fingers crossed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.